All right, ladies and gents. I know we've talked a lot about the offensive line on this channel recently, but circumstances are making it what it is, guys. So today, let's just go ahead and let's go in depth about should the Eagles make a move at left tackle, man. Let's talk about the options here. I think there are two really big options, in my opinion, that probably would make a lot of sense, which is Riley Reiff, if the Vikings let him go. To me, that's a no-brainer. And then Cordy Glenn. I think these are the absolutely two best options that could come out of this. All right, Joe, let's get into it. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching us. Once again, guys, my name is Steven Hyder, and this is Gate City Sports Channel. All right, y'all, let's talk. So, offensive line. We're having some struggles here at left tackle, guys. And let's just frame the conversation around one piece. I think the thing the Eagles have got to figure out, and listen, I empathize with the front office and the coaching staff on this decision. This is a monstrous decision, okay? Make no mistake about it. The subsequent moves we made to shore up this left tackle issue will tell us what the organization thinks about Andre Dillard. Despite what you or I might think about him, we'll know what the organization thinks about him very shortly. Because here's the thing. If you believe in Andre Dillard, you probably are not going to go out there and go get a Riley Reiff. Riley Reiff is probably a cemented starter for you for 3 to 5 years if you go get a guy like that. To begin with, we don't even know if Riley Reiff will be available. Let me just throw that out there. And I'm going to get into the specifics of some of this stuff. But Riley Reiff is being asked to take a pay cut, basically, because they went out and got Yannick and, the salary cap implications of that for the Vikings, even though Yannick took a big pay cut to come there. Hey, look, man, not everybody's into that whole rah-rah team crap. Let's just be real. Not everybody's into, I need to give up some of my money so this guy can get money. Some guys are into it. That's when you know you got a really good thing with a team. Some dudes are like, nah, bro, like, I'm not coming to the end of my contract earning years. Like, I'm not taking pay cuts for nobody. So that's always something to keep in mind, and I would not laugh at the Vikings' plight because we're going to be asking players to do that next year. Be careful, guys, laughing at other teams because we're going to need the same thing next year, or a lot of people that we respect, we like here in the Philadelphia Eagles, community, they're going to be gone. They'll be cap casualties as well. So I would caution people, be a little careful with that. I wouldn't laugh too hard about this situation. So, as I look at this situation with Andre Dillard, Here's what the Eagles have to decide. Is this kid just a kid that has the underlying skill set, but he's struggling to learn how to anchor, and he's got to get, to me, I don't think it's really a strength issue with Andre Dillard. I think that's being over-exaggerated. I think his technique is flawed greatly when it comes to bull rushes. When it comes to bull rushes in particular, in my opinion, Andre Dillard has a lot to learn about his hand placement. Okay, he just doesn't get his hands in the right place. And then also, when it comes to sinking those hips, anchoring yourself and preventing that bull rush, okay? There were just too many times when you look back on film with him when it came to a bull rush, he would get caught perpendicular to the line, guys. So perpendicular means you're at a 90-degree angle, okay? Perpendicular to the line, 90-degree angle. When you're playing a catch technique. And if you guys aren't familiar with some of these things, I don't know, maybe I can try to talk to Jalen Williams one day to come in and maybe before one of these games with me and Mike and Reese, he can talk a little bit about offensive line play and like some of the techniques out there. We can maybe make that a pregame thing if he's down for that. And basically what it is a catch technique is you're supposed to either be 45 degrees or 115 degrees from the line, but never 90 degrees. Okay, if you get 90 degrees, it's easier to get into the center of that body, lift you, and get you out of the way. I'll show you a clip real quick where this happened during one of the Bears games that we had against Khalil Mack. Or actually, it wasn't even Khalil Mack that got him with it. But it happened in the Bears game. And what ends up happening is that Dillard gets Wentz to have to duck down because Dillard's man's coming over the top and actually making contact with Wentz because of Dillard's posture, his stance, the way he's playing within the system. He's He's got to get better at that catch technique, not get caught perpendicular to the line, and learn how to anchor and hold that bull rush. Absolutely, adding strength would help, but technique is more important than the strength aspects of it. And that's where I think some of the issues lie with Andre Dillard personally, but I'll run some film for you so you can see that real fast, guys. This right here, guys, this is what I mean by being perpendicular to the line, 90-degree angle. Watch what happens with Leonard Floyd. Watch how Leonard Floyd finishes him off because of his body positioning.
Blitz, and the pocket collapses around him.
The Eagles have to make a decision. Is this something that can be coached up? Like, okay, look, this kid, stop over-exaggerating the strength. Your strength is your strength. You either have your strengths and weaknesses or you don't. Like, the kid's strength is his strength, okay? Can we get the stuff ironed out through his technique, okay? Or the Eagles have to make another decision, okay? If they don't believe this guy is the future left tackle, if they truly have lost faith, and I got to be honest with you guys, if I'm looking at this from an unbiased standpoint, the Eagles did have this kid up, from what I understand, on the trading block. So it wasn't like they were trying to move the kid, but they weren't opposed to moving him either. It's not exactly a ringing endorsement. And apparently other teams weren't exactly, I'm not saying that people didn't have interest per se, but nobody was chopping at the bits to go get this kid. So that's an issue in itself. So the Eagles have to make a decision. Is this kid your future? Or is this kid a reach? We made a big mistake. We didn't, we knew the kid's film. We knew the kid had potential, but we didn't vet the kid well enough with the coaches of his, to go through and really work out this kid's personality and things like that. The Eagles already admitted that they didn't expect the kid to be within drafting range, so they didn't do all that, and they were shocked when he was there, so they made the pick. So, my question is this kid a big V, a Vaitai, Halapuli Vaitai, right? To where he's not a top 15 left tackle, even a stretch to call him a top 30 tackle period in the league between left and right tackle. But nonetheless, he's a kid that has versatility, that can play guard, he can play tackle. He could be a starter on a different team, just not ideally for the Eagles. Not a guy you'd want starting all the time, but definitely could be a very serviceable, sixth guy coming off the bench type that we just overdrafted. Is that what Dillard is, or is Dillard going to be the cemented left tackle? They have to make that decision, and it's going to have to be made very, very shortly. If you go get Riley Reiff, guys, I think you're giving up on Dillard. Riley Reiff is going to cement your left tackle position for 3 to 5 years, to be straight honest about it, okay? Riley Reiff is a very good football player, and I do have concerns about Riley Reiff. I do think some people are taking it too far. Riley Reiff, to me, certainly he solidifies you. He's not a top 10 paid guy in terms of but he's just outside of that. I'll throw the list up of the top 10 paid tackles, and then he's like 13 mil against the cap, so he's just under that threshold, okay? So he's very respected. He's paid well. You get what I'm saying? You got to factor in that too, guys. How much is it going to cost us to get this guy? I don't think this guy's playing on too much less than that number, to be honest with you. So do we want to spend that kind of money on him? Some concerns I have about Riley Reiff is that he's kind of like Dillard a little bit, guys. Much better, he's got way more years in the league. He's way more fundamentally sound. But he's also like a 305 to 315 guy, depending on his playing weight. He's not a huge guy, 77 inches, about 305 to 315. He's very much like Dillard in that regard. He has a shorter arm length. His arm length, I think, is only like 33 inches. That's about what you look for in a corner, not necessarily a left tackle, guys. There are some concerns with Riley Reiff. He also can struggle sometimes against bull rushes too. So that is something, he's not weak, but he doesn't have he's not the greatest puncher with his hands, okay?
In the middle of the field on this one.
His cousin standing in the pocket.
Also because he doesn't have the longest arm length, and things like that kind of factor into this stuff, guys. But nonetheless, he's clearly the best available guy. If he gets let go by the Vikings, he's clearly the best available. The next guy I want to talk about, remember, Riley Reiff was a first-round pick in 2012. Next guy I'm going to talk about is a second-round pick in 2012, and that's Cordy Glenn. Cordy Glenn, to me, is more like a Jason Peters. He's got big, long arms. He's got, his arm length is 2-3 inches longer than Riley Reiff's, okay? A much more solid frame. He plays at about 330, 340 compared to Riley Reiff's 305, 315. There was a point in time where Cordy Glenn was regarded as being top 10, top 15. You know, he was in that solidified group of left tackles, right? He was a trusted guy. He was a guy that people respected around the league. He was a good football player. And then he suffered some like ankle issues, guys, and some foot issues in 2017. And that seemed to derail him a little bit. But he's kept pace. He's been moved around between left tackle, right tackle. He's bounced inside his guard before. I think even Cordy Glenn has had some experience in jumbo packages like 13 personnel coming in as a third tight end. Or 23 personnel if they were doing it with 2 back sets and 3 tight ends. He's got experience in doing these type of things. So I think Cordy Glenn makes sense.
Yeah, still very physical. The big hit there is Orton.
Guys, this was from Khalil Mack's rookie season in 2014. And you can see Cordy Glenn has enough strength to anchor here, but I will admit, he got away with one on the speed rush earlier.
2nd and 10, going for the deep ball, and
those are the 2 guys for me I'm looking at. And what I like about the Cordy Glenn option is Cordy Glenn is a guy who will absolutely compete. He'll probably be your left tackle this year if you went and got him, right? But at minimum, even if you moved Jason Peters over to left tackle, you paid him the money, you moved him over, then you signed Cordy Glenn. You got Peters and Cordy Glenn fighting out for left tackle. If Jason Peters does the inevitable, misses snaps, you got Cordy Glenn sliding in there to play that position. He can also play guard. He can also play right tackle if Lane Johnson misses snaps, right? And you got Matt Pryor there. You got Driscoll there. You know, you got Herbig there. We got guys that can back us up now. Like the depth becomes a lot better, and adding a guy like Cordy Glenn adds a crap ton of experience in the backup role. Okay? To me, I think Cordy Glenn makes a lot of sense, guys. I think he makes a tremendous amount of sense because you can either play him at left tackle and give him the job, or you can pay Peters another $1 million or $2 million more in base salary, move him over to left tackle, move Matt Pryor back to right guard where he should be, and then you got Cordy Glenn and Jack Driscoll and Nate Herbig to back everything up pretty much. I think that immediately makes you a much better football team. You have way more experience now with a 6th guy coming off the bench, in my opinion. But these are my thoughts, guys. You already know I want to know. I want to know, what do you think? Leave your thoughts down below, guys. What do you think about this whole thing about the Eagles left tackle situation? I mean, to me, ideally, I would like to pay Peters an extra $1 million or $2 million, move him over to left tackle, move Matt Pryor back into right guard, and then sign a guy like Cordy Glenn. I think that would be option number 1. It doesn't have to necessarily be Cordy Glenn. He's just a name that catches my attention, though. So it could be another player, but someone in that category of player, okay? Option number 2 to me would be if a guy like Riley Reiff gets let go, this is a guy that could give you 3 years to figure out your left tackle position, right? This is a guy that allows you to keep drafting guys and developing guys because you've got a solidified starter at left tackle with Lane Johnson over there at right tackle. So, because the other option is moving like Lane over to left tackle, then moving Matt Pryor to right tackle. Then you got Peters at guard. If you're not going to, to me, guys, way too much movement. That would be entirely too much movement in my opinion. So, let me know your thoughts, guys. You already know mine. I just went way over depth here explaining it. So let me know your thoughts. You know we end these videos, guys. We do a little EAGLES. We'll see, guys. I make no predictions, but these are the 2 names I'm personally watching. All right, y'all. I'm out.